Wuthering Waves is about to release a lot sooner than you think. And in this video, we're going to go through everything you need to know about Wuthering Waves, as well as some information you may not have realized, as well as the accidental release date, which was kind of funny how it was leaked. And finally, why I'm a bit worried about the Wuthering Waves situation, because a few things just don't kind of make sense. But we'll go through all of it in just a moment. Now, let's start off with some information you may not have known. So, when I was going through researching Wuthering Waves, I didn't actually realize that Wuthering Waves is actually not going to release on Xbox. It's literally releasing on every other platform on the planet. The game will be released on mobile, iOS and Android, PC, PS4, PS5, and there is no information that it will release on the Xbox platform. Now, I guess it probably makes sense for a lot of people since I don't believe Genshin is available on Xbox. They just kind of forgot about that. But, you know, with it releasing it on PC, I would have thought maybe they would have made it accessible on Xbox because it's just a whole market that they're not taking advantage of. So, honestly, with as close as we are to the release date, I don't believe we are going to see Wuthering Waves on Xbox at all. I don't believe there are any plans. So, sorry, all Xbox players, you're going to have to either play on your phone, which is just kind of sad. And also, some new news as well. Something interesting. Apparently, Wuthering Waves is now on WeGame, the Tencent launcher, which is apparently something similar to Steam. So, it really is proving to be releasing soon. And it's a bit odd they haven't given us an official release date, but they are trying to slowly roll it out without people realizing, but information is getting out there. And currently, I know on YouTube, people don't like it when you talk negatively about Wuthering Waves. Now, there is a large portion of people who are running and screaming with the flag saying it's a Genshin killer, it's a better Genshin, but you are not allowed to ever say it's comparable to Genshin, because it's a Genshin killer, but it's not a Genshin clone. So I don't know how that works. You know, the game has to be in the same market, it has to hit the same point for it to kill the other game. But you dare ever compare it to Genshin. Anyways, that's a bit of my rambling, so don't take it too personally, because I know a lot of you guys do that on the internet. But there's a lot of mixed opinions online, mainly about the exploration and the color palette and stuff. So it will be interesting to see how it goes. Okay, so next point. When is the release date and how did it get leaked? Well, you can thank the Epic Games Store for leaking the game, because not many people play on the Epic Games Store. Maybe they just needed some more attention. So they thought, hey, how about we just leak Wuthering Waves? Someone on Reddit actually found out that Wuthering Waves updated its page and apparently set a release date for the 30th of May, which is an extremely, extremely early release date in my honest opinion. And a lot of people think so too, if you just go down the Reddit comments. Another funny point is that apparently it's extremely demanding to run, and the hardware that they listed to run the game apparently doesn't even exist yet. So apparently they need a Ryzen 3700, not a Ryzen. I don't know, they're just making up names. It's just a bit funny. So apparently they're expecting you to need a GTX 1060 equivalent to play a game that should also run on mobile. I don't know what Epic Games is smoking, but they need to give me some, okay? I need to be as delusional as these people are, okay? So they updated the Epic Games Store a few days ago, and they believe they put down 30th of May. That's the date I've been seeing going around. Now, I don't think this was an official leak, so I'm not really scared about Kuro coming down and trying to axe me. I'm just going off on what I've seen around Reddit. It could be fake. Obviously, they could have just put a placeholder date, but I highly doubt it. I feel like they told Epic Games what date the game's going to release, and then they did an oopsie and accidentally put the that date down. But here's the thing. I mean, I'm hoping it's a placeholder date because 30th of May is just way too soon. Now, there was a lot of mixed feedback from the beta, and there's an argument to be made where people say the beta is actually quite a few months prior development. But then the issue with that is, like, we don't know, since, let's say this beta was made 5 months ago and then they rolled out now, how much progress have they made since now and then? It kind of doesn't make too much sense, because what if they've already implemented a lot of the changes people were saying in the beta, because it's a 5-month-old version of the game. So I'm not sure what to think about that. So I'm going to, withhold my thoughts because I just don't have enough information. But a lot of people weren't so happy with the exploration in the game, how some of the mechanics work. A few more parts could be, a few more features of the game could have more depth. I think at the moment, Wuthering Waves is kind of just being carried by being called a Genshin killer. My personal hot take, I don't think it's enough. I think no one has demonstrated Wuthering Waves solving a lot of the problems that Genshin has. Yes, the combat is more fun, but again, combat won't be fun if there's nowhere of value to kind of test yourself. I do think the game is going to be a success and it's going to be great. I do see a lot of people giving some very interesting feedback. Like especially when people talk about the end game and the ecosystem, infinite farming. And of course, when people first started playing the beta, they were going to go around saying how great it is, you can just farm forever. When in reality, it wasn't really like that. You do actually have to use the resin equivalent in order to get the, the actual value out of the thing that you are farming. Otherwise, you're just farming something that really doesn't provide you any value. So that was the thing. That was the twist. And I think other people have noticed a few other aspects of the game kind of leaving a mixed taste. So I do want them to spend more time developing the game, because once it comes out, it's going to be very hard to fix. Not impossible, but it's harder to fix a game that's already been rolled out rather than a game that has more time, to cook in the oven. That's all I think they should do. I would love for the game to come out the 30th of May. It would give me so much content to make. But for the game's best interest, I do think it would be better. And also, on a side note, apparently this Tencent launcher has a 40% share in Epic Games, as well as a 40% share in Kuro. So that note earlier about it releasing early about it having a page on the Tencent is maybe a bit more relevant than I first thought, because they actually have shares with Kuro Games and Epic Games, all the people involved with this game. So yeah, it adds a lot more validity to the fact that this game is coming out very soon. And finally, the final point is that, a lot of people agree that this game needs a bit more time to cook, and it shouldn't come out so soon. A lot of people thinking that it's I don't know exactly why they're trying to rush it. Maybe, in my honest opinion, they're trying to get it out before Genshin 5.0, because immediately after Genshin 5.0 comes out, it's the climate's going to be too hard to take up some space. So maybe they're trying to get in there before Genshin has its next peak. Genshin has a periodical spike. It's kind of funny how that works. It's just written to always have the high at a certain point. All the YouTubers come back, and then it goes low again, and then dead for a while, and then comes back again to generate more content. But yeah, so I think they're really trying to avoid that. And with Wuthering Waves, they've moved the release date so many times. I think it was originally set to release in let me see. It was originally set to release, and I think the game was set to release in May 2022. So they have been cooking this for a long time. So maybe it's about time to just get this out, because how much longer can you really keep this going? So in that sense, I do get it. But I'm just going off what I've heard, general feedback, and not just the Wuthering Waves fanboys. I don't care in the Genshin killer argument, Honkai Star Rail debate, because recently I've realized that it's all stupid when you argue about gacha games on the internet. It's just how I think. It's just I don't have the energy to be yapping about which gacha game is better than the next, because listen, they're all here to just take our money in the first place. So why are we arguing? Who do you want to get robbed by the most? I don't know. I just think it's kind of silly. And also, another thing, it's going to be interesting is going to see how Kuro Game listens to the global response, because that's a massive issue for Genshin. I've covered a lot of issues about Genshin on this channel, and one of the major ones is that there's a lot of misinformation saying that global doesn't, EN doesn't make up a large portion to the point where we can't affect the game. I believe that's true. But the fact of the matter is, they don't listen to the EN players, because the EN players are super docile. They don't want to say anything. They don't want to risk losing their contracts. So they don't say anything. That's the problem. So it'll be interesting to see how Wuthering Waves moves forward. I do think they are going to use it as a trump card against Genshin to say, hey, we listen to you. But one side note, is a bit of a tangent here. With Wuthering Waves, I do think they're trying to appeal to the fans a bit too much. Okay, now that statement doesn't quite make sense off the bat, but let me explain. There was a lot of changes from CBT 1 to CBT 2. A few of them was there was this big boss fight, and they toned down this boss fight like 10 levels. It was a lot more intense in the first iteration, and then afterwards they made it easier, more accessible. So that was a big change that I don't think a lot of people really talked about. Maybe I'll make a video on it, maybe I won't. So there's that one aspect. And secondly, they rewrote 90% of the story. Now, a lot of people are saying that's really good thing, but I think if you're able to rewrite 90% of your story, you kind of have a problem. Especially if this game's been in development and was set to release in 2022, meaning it was probably being developed since 2021 at least. It's like, imagine you're going to release a book and you rewrite 90% of it. I don't know. I think it's good that they're willing to change, but you need to be able to like put your foot down and say this is it. But I think it's good, but it makes me question, like, you know, with how intertwined the characters are going to be. I didn't have a chance to play, so I'm not going to think about it too much, but a lot of people say that's a good thing, and I'm just a bit worried. You know, you need to put your own stamp on things, and if you get swayed too much, then it's not gonna, it kind of loses out on some of the I don't know what the word is, authenticity. No, it's just, I can't quite describe the point I'm trying to make, so I'm gonna leave that point behind. But I'm sure you guys understood what I'm trying to say. Also, if you just generally go on the gacha games Reddit, apparently a lot of people that are not very happy with the Wuthering Waves. So a lot more of the mixed opinions are on the gacha gaming subreddit. I don't understand that. Maybe it's maybe people like Genshin a lot on the subreddit, and maybe they don't like Wuthering Waves. I don't know. I'm not going to spend too much time researching this right now, as I just don't have the time to do it. But it's quite interesting to see how people vary on their opinions on YouTube and on Reddit. Obviously, I've only been on the gacha gaming subreddit to find some news about it, and I've only had people give a lot of feedback, a lot of criticisms about the game. But if you go on YouTube, you get blasted if you say anything about Wuthering Waves, which is interesting. And I know someone's gonna say, no, they appreciate the feedback. Yes, but like there's a lot of hype trying to cover over a lot of the mistakes, and you can't really bash the game too much. But hey, I don't really care. I'm just waiting for the game to come out so I can play it, because it looks really fun. So if you enjoyed the video, feel free to go and follow the Twitch at twitch.tv/Bimo, BIIMOW. It's Bimo, not Bmao. Also, I have a second channel where I don't cover gacha games. Go watch that, and go follow that one. And finally, if you need more videos to watch, go check out what the flip is going on with Genshin. Go click that video. Click it.